In a world where two short-term rental bros come together.
What?
Not in that way, bro. There's a podcast of truly epic proportions where we talk about all things short-term rental and shoot the shit along the way. Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast. Here are your hosts, Matt Codd and Austin Spitz.
What's going on, everybody? It's Austin Spitz, and we're back with the Co-Host Bros Podcast. I got my good buddy here, Matt. What's going on, Matt? How you doing today?
Yo, Austin. We let Austin do the intro today just to throw you all off. What's new with you?
Other than just coming in hot and nailing that intro, I think everything's been pretty good, man. Just cranking away, building the business, doing what I can to delegate my schedule and freeing up my time to try and get some new business. It's, getting closer to the off season. So trying to identify those properties that are struggling, come in and see if I can reach out to owners and finding ways to just increase sales, man. That's what I got going on. How about you?
Dealing with hurricane damage and insurance and everything else, just waiting for some money to hit my bank account and get that fixed up. Had a bunch of meetings with potential clients and just waiting for someone to put ink to paper. I should have somebody supposed to meet again next Friday, so we'll see how that goes. We've already met once, and I think he wants to bring his wife to come meet, so that's good. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think the listeners know that you actually finally hired your VA, so if you want to talk about that a little bit, that would be cool, because I think some people would appreciate that.
Yeah, so got to a phase where that was a necessity, and we've been talking about it in a lot of episodes. I actually did it like 2 or 3 months ago, so they've been onboarded for a while and just kind of copied what a lot of people already do in the industry. Leverage the resources in my network to kind of figure out how to hire, how to make it happen. So went through a vetting process, interviewed a bunch of virtual assistants and found one that I liked, onboarded them. They've been great so far. So it's kind of like what I've been doing is just utilizing them to give them smaller tasks to take off my plate. And then as I, continue to move forward, giving them more and more and more tasks. So I'm in that in-between phase where they've already started, they're doing stuff, they're making mistakes, which is amazing. And they're learning from those mistakes and figuring out what to do long-term. So, I think that's part of the process is training them and learning that they're going to make mistakes, and you just have to understand that you have to embrace that and just be like, look, like I tell her all the time, like she gets maybe a little down on herself, but I came into it with not necessarily all the resources that she should have to be able to operate. And I explained to her like, hey, that's my fault as a business owner that you don't have what you need necessarily, but we are working to build that out, and you're going to make mistakes along the way. And I want you to make mistakes. So you learn and I learn, and we both learn together of what to do and how we operate in our business. But it's been pretty instrumental, the amount of time I've been able to get back. But it also has involved a lot of time up front with the training, and it's that investment in the initial time to make sure that they know what they're doing, how to do it, and, so they can execute for me. So it does take a lot of time up front, but hopefully I'll get to the point, a few months later on down the road where things will be much more streamlined, and they'll continue to be able to take a lot of stuff off my plate, which is great.
I like it. So are you, and now it's like a question, I'm interviewing you now. Are you now more like, now you're more focused on like leadership and just more of like the sales aspect and just kind of leaving everything else to her, and then just kind of streamlining it, figure out how to streamline everything yourself to make it more efficient?
Yeah, I think so. The main focus now for me is like get the small tasks off the plate that don't make any money and take too much time, and train them how to do it so I can focus on growing the business and getting more clients and even having them, identify properties that would be a good fit, showing them what a good property that is a good fit looks like, how to, get the owner's information so they can do a lot of the skip tracing and figuring out like the contacts. And I'm even having them kind of do like a general template cold call email, if you will, to reach out to certain ones. And then I'm going to have certain lists like, hey, give me the owner's contacts for these 10 listings, and I'm going to do my work on there. So, yeah, I think it's just learning as I go, and just figuring out how much I can delegate to them. So what I'm thinking is like, every time I do something, I'm like, how can I get them to do this? How can I get them to do this? And every time I do something, I'm like, okay, well, let me jump on a Zoom call. I'm going to show you how to do this. I show them how to do it. I say, okay, now you go do it, and build out an SOP while you're doing it, right? Because a lot of people say, well, you need to hire a VA and you need to have all these SOPs in place to show them how to do something. And I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. So I don't. And it's been working so far because now I have I've got like 10 documents of SOPs that I've trained them how to do. Now, through that process, they've made mistakes and they've edited their SOPs as they went, but they're actually building out the SOPs. And I'm just going through their SOPs and looking at it like, wow, that's cool. And they added screenshots of how to do everything. We don't do like Loom videos or anything like that yet. But I mean, that's option. We can add that in later, where they can do a Loom video once they're really trained up on it and show their screen on how to do it. But for now, I mean, we at least have some kind of documentation that they're doing it. And the reason I like my method better than building out SOPs myself is that when they're doing it, they're actually building out the SOPs and they're learning and training and figuring it out on their own. And I think the best way to learn really how a business operates is like doing it all by yourself first, because, you know, that's just where they can make mistakes, but they can also learn that this is the way things are supposed to go. So I like my method so far. I don't know.
I like it too. I think that you're in a decent spot to where, if you have to take over some of the work so that she can, focus on learning that task, creating that SOP, then you can. You're in a good spot to do that. I think that's good, especially if you're reviewing them, it's working out. And I don't know a lot of people who wants to fucking write SOPs. That's,
No.
I mean, I'm not an analytical person. And when it comes down to SOPs, that's going to be my wife's department because that's what she does for her job. So, yeah, not my thing. I could tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to write it all down for you.
Yeah.
So
I know
I
people.
think it's awesome.
Yeah, I know people that are wired that way, and they can put some stuff together. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But then when I look at it, I'm like, honestly, like I don't want to do this shit, so I'm not. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, that's good too, because then she'll be able to onboard the next person as you grow and so on and so forth. And then you won't have to be doing the onboarding. So it'll save you a lot of time. So would you say it's the best decision you ever made?
From a business perspective, I think it's definitely one of them. Maybe the best decision I've ever made so far. But I think it's still like, ask me that question in like 3 to 6 more months when I really have them like cranking at the business, and I'm like, this is awesome, and I've got them basically managing and running my life, and then I can go out and get more business and make more money. And when I'm doing that, then the opportunity comes to like put another team member on if she gets too overwhelmed, and just kind of made it clear to her from the start, like, hey, like I already wear all the hats, and I already wear, I do everything, right? As a business owner, there's a million things you have to do, from marketing to building a brand to operations to invoice. There's just a million things. So, I kind of explained to her, to sales, right? And then I explained to her, you're going to have to wear a lot of hats too. So, like, you don't really have a job description. You're just kind of like helping me build it out. And you're going to do a bunch of different things. And, as long as they're good with that and understand, like, hey, we're not at a point where you're just guest messaging. I need you to do a lot more things for now. And then as I scale, when I need it, when let's say guest messaging is almost a full-time thing, that would be awesome. Then I could just say, hey, you're over guest messaging and listing stuff and all platform stuff or something. And then I'll have somebody else to do the sales. But for now, it's like, I don't have enough going on to have multiple people doing multiple things yet until I go out and get more business. And for now, she's wearing a lot of hats, just like I'm wearing a lot of hats.
And then we were talking last time after I think we interviewed Sean McGregor. You were teaching her how to skip trace the listings. Is she doing that now?
Yeah, she's got that kind of figured out. So like she just uses the softwares to go in and hone in on a property, find the address, be able to locate the owner, and she's been just emailing them directly. But yeah, there's certain ones I may either want to call or reach out to a text directly where I'm like, oh no, this one's like really hurting. Like this is a really good property. I need to like get after this one. And then some of them are more of like numbers games. Like, yeah, I would love to have them, but I don't have too much time and energy to reach out myself. So a cold email from her is better than nothing happening at all. So the more I can get her doing things that I wouldn't have done anyways, that's great. And then the ones that I'm like, hey, I need to step in and do this one, then that's where I can come in and like try to do a little bit more aggressively reaching out.
I think that's awesome. You teach her as many things as possible, right? At some point, you're gonna have different departments or different teams. Hopefully, my assumption is with you. I know how you are. You like to go big or go home. So I think you're gonna try to be one of the big co-hosts out there.
Trying to, man.
So
It's all
I think I
it's all I'm doing. So
expect nothing less.
I've got no other excuses. Like this is all I'm doing. So it's like, yeah, I have to just go for it, go all in. Like, whatever. It's all I got.
Yeah, and podcasts when I fuck up your calendar.
Ah,
that kind of stuff.
you
I
know,
don't even ask Austin, by the way, everybody. I just schedule him and like his secretary. So I just like go boop send. You know,
I'm just a yes man. I just open up my calendar and says,
yeah,
"Oh, Daddy says be on this call, so I got to be there."
yeah. You never tell me you can't either, except for one time when you went to a fake concert. No, I'm just kidding. I saw your pictures. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, no, it's great. It works out for everybody. It really does. That's cool. Um, yeah, so we did have a guest that was supposed to be on today. He just texted me he wants to reschedule. He had a house burned down.
Oh shit,
So I guess we're all in the thick of insurance claims.
man.
So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
So
I went through one of those recently myself, so it's no fun. And insurance is scary because you pay them this money, and you don't know what the result. It's just rolling the dice, and you're like, "Well, I paid you all this money. Hopefully, like now it's my time." And it's like they're like, "Yeah, maybe we'll see."
yeah. Car insurance is so much better than homeowners insurance. Because when you and I went to IMN and we were talking about the accident I got in, and I don't even think I had talked to the adjuster yet. And the adjuster called me and said, "Hey, heard you got in an accident." Yeah, I did. Can you fix my car?
Right.
So, yeah, the homeowners insurance people aren't apt to call you and say, "Hey, I heard your house got hit by a hurricane or caught on fire." No, they're like, "What policy? Where is it at? What day? You sure it's not lapsed?" Like, whoa, I paid you. So that's crazy, crazy, crazy. So what else is new with you?
Mm,
Nothing?
no, nothing too much. No, nothing. Man, what's up with you, man? How's the co-hosting business going? I know you got a lot of leads coming in. I mean, at least you're getting a lot
Yeah.
of traffic, and you're getting calls, and people are reaching out to you that are hurting and they're struggling and they're interested in what value you can bring. And obviously, we know that you're a really good operator as is. So it's just like I don't know. You just got to copy and paste that skill set into delivering for someone else, and dude, they're gonna be wowed.
Yeah. I get a lot of meetings. I'm not getting sales. I'm having issues with that. And I think that, and we've discussed this a couple times, and I think that I'm just going to have to keep honing the approach, keep following up. Generally, with the people that I have meetings with, that reminds me I have someone to follow up with this week. Normally, I'll follow up like a week later. And continue to follow up, but I'm also continuing to send emails just to keep it warm for the people I haven't talked to, or the people that don't return my texts or calls, but they're still opening my emails. So like yesterday I sent an email, like 5 ways to increase your bookings during slow season, or to increase your revenue, I should say, during slow season. And I also sent that out to the people who have subscribed to our co-host template mailing list from the what was it? I can't think of what the show, not the Q&A, but the other thing, the tip of the week where I offered to give them 3 free templates. So after I wrote that email yesterday, I popped that out and just sent that email to everybody on our list as well, just so that they could use it for their potential clients. I'm getting some traffic. I'm getting traffic from people I'm not contacting from my Facebook ad, which is cool. So people are scheduling, like we had that one from Rockport that we talked about last week, but she didn't show up. I gave her a follow-up call, left her a voicemail, shot her a text and an email. So we're gonna have to do that again, probably in a day or two. See if we can keep her warm. I mean, really, my goal is to keep them warm. I look at it like, even if I don't get it, if I have 70 people warm, at some point I'm going to get 10 of those people, right? Because I keep them warm and they're not going to forget about me. And then something's going to happen. Some kind of negative event's going to happen and trigger it to where they're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm leaving Vacasa, or I'm leaving Evolve, or I'm leaving my property manager. Oh, what do you know? I just happen to send this email at the perfect time, or I just happen to send you a letter. So so I'm working my list. Like I got, running Facebook ads to them, sending them texts, calls, emails. I started probably a couple weeks ago sending letters. So I sent that letter to you that we were talking about that. So I'm sending about 30 letters every weekend, just to kind of like, I don't want to run on my list. I don't want to run like 500 at one time, obviously, but I want to do like, 30 here, 30 there, just kind of trickle them out there. I'm looking into some kind of follow-up, maybe postcard or something that's relatively cheaper after I send that letter. Like a, hey, don't forget about me. Because I just want to keep them warm from every angle, because eventually I won't have to convert it. It'll convert itself. Like we won't have to have a call. They'll basically, we'll have a conversation about, like the last guy I talked to that I have to talk to again on Friday with his wife. He's sold. His wife couldn't make the meeting. That's the issue we have now. But he's like, yeah, I'll sign. He's like, my best friend's going to rent the house next door. He has a house next door. He's going to move. I'll have him go with you too. So I'm just waiting for him to sign. So I got to get his wife on board. So she's going to meet with us. And that's the tough part. But, my wife is working with his wife, and, you get 2 boss ladies together, then it'll work out. So
Yeah.
not too concerned with it right this second, but I think it'll work out.
Yeah, for that one, if they're already like kind of halfway committed, you just got to keep hammering them and be like, hey, like you're ready to give notice. Like I'm ready to move forward. You just kind of got to be like aggressive on that one. And I think like one of my weaknesses is like follow up is one of my weaknesses. I need to get better at. It's more of like, if I talk to somebody, I know the value that I bring, and if they're not ready to switch or they don't want to commit to it, I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm moving on. I've got more to do. Like, if you're not ready, then that's fine, whatever. And I think that might not be the best attitude, but it's also like I only have so much time, and I don't know. There's also a part of me that's like, hey, I don't want to come off desperate, so I'm not going to keep texting you every month. Like I already talked to you. You understand that I know what I'm doing. If you want to move forward, then you can move forward. But I'm not going to spend too much time like wasting my time following up with you. Like maybe a text in a month or two when I think about you, but that's it. But maybe that's not the right way to do it. But that's just how I do it. And then I've been reading this book. I finished it. It's called Predictable Revenue, and it's kind of like a sales book, and it talks about all the ways to get new business. And there's 10 recommended ways, whether it be online, whether it be referrals, marketing campaigns, whatever. And it says basically all these 10 are really good, but all these ways of getting business, you don't want to try all of them. You want to pick 2 or 3 and go really hard on 2 or 3 of them and get really good and plant those seeds with like those 2 to 3 different marketing methods. And then you want to build it out over time to where you kind of do all of them. But like, let's say you're doing an email marketing campaign, like stick with that and go kind of like all in on that. And then maybe your next one is like social media or Facebook groups, go hard on that. And then maybe throw in one more, but don't try and do like, there's so many ways to get clients. Don't try and do like all 10. And the book was just saying like the most successful results will come from like just picking 2 or 3 avenues of marketing and selling, and just get really good at those 2 or 3 that already are working for you. So it can be overwhelming when you're like, how do I get more clients? Oh, so and so over here is doing it this way and he got clients. Well, yeah, that worked for them, but maybe it would work for you. But if your skill set is more geared towards email marketing and you can just keep blasting those emails and they're really good templates and you can see on your CRM that they're opening them every time, then just keep doing that. So I don't know. That's just my takeaway.
Yeah, I think really too, like with anything, it just all depends on like the pain the person's going through. I think that if somebody's like, I'm getting a check every month, I don't really care, then it doesn't really matter to them, until something goes wrong. Um, and I think that's kind of the issue too. I actually just listened to Alex Hormozy, $100 million Offers. Have you heard that? Have you listened to that book? It's similar to what you're talking about, but it's a pretty good book. It's short, not long.
Yeah, the book that I was reading was Predictable Revenue, and actually it was one of his like top 5 books, and that's the reason why I honestly just saw a reel from him. He's like, "These are 5 books I'd read." I was like, "Okay, sales and marketing," and that was one of them on the list. So I just ordered it, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like something I need to read." So I got it from him too. But yeah, that was a good read.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I need to read more sales books too. Sometimes they're just hard to. I feel like with sales, to me, it's like I rather watch like videos on that than read on it. To me personally, I think it's just like I kind of want to see it in action, right? I kind of want to see, like, for instance, if you see like an Andy Elliott video and he's doing his little sales training thing, and then you're like, oh shit, that makes sense. Like, yeah, you're right. How would you? Well, you would have to go home and think about it, but I haven't given you all the information to even think about it, right? So it's like that kind of stuff. You're like, oh, you could write that in a book, but unless you're a super active reader and you're highlighting and taking notes and going back and putting post-its on and all these things, then I feel like you reading that one line, you're not going to really retain it unless it's like that aha moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hey, everybody, this is Matt from the Co-Host Bros podcast. I recently came back from a mastermind trip, and I spent a lot of time talking about taxes with Ryan Bakke. So, Ryan normally took on clients that had 10 plus listings. Well, he created a brand new program where he's going to take on people between 1 and 10 listings for a lot cheaper at a small business owner price. It's going to include on demand support, monthly calls, and tax prep. They're going to do little coaching calls monthly, things like that to help you save as much money as possible on your taxes in the future, including on this year. Ryan has helped thousands of people save money, investors especially. And you really don't want to sleep on this because I think the price will go up at some point. You're going to save far more money than you spend. If you're really interested in changing CPAs and finding something better, go ahead and click the link that I posted for you inside the show notes. Now we're going back to the show.
I think
It's tough though.
yeah. I think the main key is like what you already said was like find their pain points. And I think like, yeah, I get it. There's all these sales tactics, but like there's a reason why they're calling you and there's a reason why they're talking to you. So what I always try and tell people is like nobody cares that you use dynamic pricing. Like they don't even know what that means. Like nobody cares about this and SEO and listing they don't give a shit about any of that. What they care about is the one like when it may be as simple as like when they go visit the property, it's dirty as shit and their cleaning reviews are bad. And maybe they don't even know what their cleaning reviews are, but maybe when they visit the property, it's just like, hey, when we come to use it as an owner, it's like we're just disappointed with the quality of work that's taking place here. And not making money either. So it's like I always like sometimes I get ahead of myself and I talk too much, but the real easy sales are when like I just let them talk and then they end up like bringing out all their frustration. Now they've got all this animosity built up and you're like their superhero on the phone because you're going to tell them how you're going to solve their specific problem and you're going to come in and you're going to be like, okay, if it's cleaning, then you're just like, hey, here's our listings. All of our listings have 4.9 above cleanliness. So whenever you come as an owner, you can understand that you're going to sleep in a clean bed with clean sheets and whatever the bugs or whatever the problem was when you're visiting, it's not going to be an issue anymore. But also we're going to also be able to make you more money, like just addressing the problems they have. Because the mistake I see people make is like they oversell their business and then people are like, okay, well, thanks for the call, sounds good, I really didn't care about any of that stuff, but thanks for telling me about your business. But it's more of like, Oh wow, they're gonna really fix what really is bothering me. So once you find out what that is, you just hammer it home. I feel like the best sales calls that I've had and the ones that I've closed have been just letting them tell me what the problem is, and then I just tell them how I fix it. And once I tell them how I fix it, they usually don't even really care about all the rest of the stuff. They're like, okay, well, what's your commission? Oh, okay, it's close enough to there. Okay, well, yeah, can you meet me at the property? I'd like to walk it with you. And once you got that, it's like it should be closer to in the bag, but find their problems and just hammer that home. That's the thing. So when you go on your next call, that's just my nugget. Like, just let them talk and let them talk about all the memories they have in their house and all this, and let them go on, and then just say, well, what's not working with you? Why are you meeting with me? And then they're like, boom, they'll expose it, and you just like, okay, yeah, yeah, we don't have that problem with any of the properties we
Yeah.
manage, so don't worry about that.
And some of them are dumb problems. Like the guy I talked to, who I'm supposed to have meet with his wife, his biggest problem was they always leave the back doors unlocked. And I'm like, huh? They always leave the back doors unlocked. And I'm like, and they haven't rectified this? He's like, no, it's been 2 years and they just keep leaving the back doors unlocked. And I'm like, well, we can put a checklist for the cleaner to make sure the back doors are locked. She can send us a picture that they're locked, or we can put Wi-Fi locks on there, pull them up, and make sure it's locked or something. But like, it's an easy thing to rectify. So I don't understand why your back door is still unlocked, like today, right?
Yeah, and
So
the
it's
things
weird.
the things that irk people, like simple as like, oh, they never change out the air filters, and they're like thinking about like how much this is weighing on them, and they keep bringing up like, yeah, the air filters are always dirty, or like, yeah, my AC bill, the guest comes in and they crank it down to like 55 degrees, and then I got to call the AC guy out, and then you just think to yourself like, okay, well, probably just need to put a smart thermostat in. Okay, well, they already have a smart thermostat. Okay, well, you just need to set lock settings, like it can't go past 67 degrees, and you just do that one time and then they never have that problem again. And it's just these little things like that are just never getting fixed. And when you find out kind of what the owners like, when you get more at scale, it's hard to keep track of these things. I understand, but like if you just know what makes the owner tick, solve that problem and don't allow it to happen again. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like the biggest thing is they show up and their back door is unlocked. It's like, hey, I write that note down. It's like, okay, as soon as I onboard this property, I'm finding a way just to make sure this never happens again. Like just put a little smart lock on
Yeah.
or whatever, just so they know that it's always locked.
Yeah. It's crazy what people would say what their biggest issues are, because you don't think about that stuff. Because a bigger issue for me is not a bigger issue for them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another
a
one I
big
see another one I see a
so,
lot of is like nickeling and diming from a bigger managers of like things that they don't know. And then a lot of the bigger managers, they'll just if there's something on the invoice and they'll say, hey, we're not happy, we don't want to pay for this and take this off. And a lot of the bigger managers are like, okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. We'll take it off to keep your business. And my thing is like try not to nickel and dime them for things like that in the first place, but also like no, if I paid for something for your property, like it's not, I'm not eating that cost. Like no, it's not gonna happen
right.
like that. But you just explain that up front, and we'll do everything that we can to make sure the charges that we are doing make sense, and you can kind of adapt if there's certain things like that.
You think the problem with that is like transparency, though? You think like, because I know that if something goes wrong and you have to pay for something, you let your owner know, like before you even invoice them. You're like, hey, by the way, this is broken. We got to pay for this. And I think that maybe you have that problem, not you, but the other manager has that problem because per se they're not communicating that, and then they're just sending an invoice for an extra $75 or whatnot.
But they never knew that
You
it
know?
happened.
Yeah,
It's
right.
it's tough though, man, because sometimes it's like you don't have time to throw in another party. It's like, hey, like maybe it's a same day check-in or something. Like, no, I have to execute this right now, and you can learn about it later. And that is a tough balance. Like that's just something you have to navigate as a
Yeah,
business owner. There's never going to be it's situation dependent, and there's a lot of times where like I don't know. It really just depends on the situation, how you want to go about it. Try to keep the owners as much communication as possible, but some owners are like, okay, sounds good, take care of it. And then some owners are like, well, send me pictures. Well, why did it happen? Did the guest do it? Are you going to go after the guests? What are you going to do? It's just like, okay, sometimes it's like, it depends. It's really tough. Like, it's really tough to navigate. Like,
yeah.
how does the owner like to operate? And sometimes you're just better off like just solving the problem yourself, especially if time is of the essence. And in this industry, it's really hard to it's not hard. You just have to develop the skill set of like, hey, like I execute like, okay, the hot tub's not working. Okay, my hot tub cleaner can't get over there. So, okay, what do I need to do? I need to have a backup hot tub cleaner. Like I know I need someone over there today. Oh, you can't go over today? Let me call a third person on my list. I need this hot tub fixed and repaired today. And it's like I don't have time to call the owner. Hey, is this okay? Is this vendor work? It's like, no, this needs to get taken care of now. And maybe the hot tub is not as extreme. You could just say, hey, hot tub's broken. Sorry for the inconvenience. But maybe let's say something as essential as like the air conditioning. I would send a text and say, "Hey,
Right.
the air conditioning's out. I've already sent the HVAC guy, but I'm not eating that cost. I'm just letting you know the HVAC guy is coming out. If we cancel this booking, you're gonna lose $2,000. So we need to do this now. Whenever the AC guy comes, I just need your approval that you're gonna pay this bill. They're gonna send it to you, but or I can cancel on the guest and you're gonna lose $2,000 because it's the property's fault. There's nothing that there's no it's full refund, right? So it's really situation dependent. It's hard to like that's why you got to have like a group of people that you can collaborate with, which we both do. Like a network of people that like, hey, I can
Yeah.
just send a message to 10 people in a group message, like our mastermind, and just say, hey, this is what's happening. It's maybe stressing me out a little bit. What do I do? Everybody chimes in. This happened to me already. No big deal. Do this and do that. And then it's like, okay, problem solved. So you don't have to go through all that alone.
Yeah, I agree. It is 100% imperative just to find people that are doing the same thing, and you don't even have to pay for a group. Like when my house got hit by a hurricane, holy shit, did my phone blow up? I had people calling me, be like, "Hey, this is what happened when my house got hit by a hurricane, or this is what happened when this happened, and this happened, that happened." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." And they're like, "Oh, do this, do that." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." Like I didn't even have to ask anybody for advice. I just posted like, "Hey, this is what happened." Like, actually, I don't know if I posted the house getting hit by a hurricane or if I posted my 75 hard thing, but it was like basically like, hey, the house is fucked up. This is what it looks like. Like, the next steps to be continued, right? Like, I didn't even ask anybody for help, but my phone was ringing off the hook. Carissa's phone was ringing off the hook. My DMs were blowing up. But that's what happens when you have a community of people around you, though. It's like, I I text you and ask you shit all the time. Like, I mean, we don't talk on a daily basis. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we talk every single day, probably like 4 hours a day, texting back and forth. Sometimes we don't. But I'll text you if I have a question that I know that that you can answer, or you'll text me and ask me, if I have answer for a question. So it's like, but that's what it is about. It's a community because like if you had nobody to ask, you're just aimlessly wandering. Like it's tough. It's tough when you don't know anybody
Yeah.
that's doing it.
It is tough, and it's also getting to the point where, well, first of all, it's awesome that you had that community that everybody helped you. It sucks that happened to your house, but that people were already chiming in and saying, "I've done this. Make sure you don't make this mistake and that mistake." That's awesome to have that community. I think it's also sometimes it's tough to balance that because I have a lot of friends, and so do you, and we want to help each other, but it's like I feel like the bigger that we get and the more are established we become, more and more people like I'm noticing want my time, and it's okay because I'm like willing to help everybody, but I've got to get to a point where it's like it's a tough conversation, but it's like you're going to get in the weeds helping everybody 24/7 is what I'm not really there yet, but I'm getting as time goes by, I'm getting more and more people asking me questions, and it's fine. But I at some point I have to figure out like not you specifically, but some other people, it's like, hey, like you had to book a calendar and you're going to have to pay me for this because it's taking away from things that make me money. So that's something I'm trying to navigate. And I'm not trying to say like you need to pay me, but like my time is worth something. And I'm getting to the point,
Right. Right.
I'm getting to the point where I guess if the relationship's mutual enough to where like I have friends at a very high level and they ask me for something, then it's like, okay, that's a no brainer. But like if somebody's first starting, it's like, hey, you got to like maybe book some time, and then I'm happy to help you. So that's something also I'm like trying to look at figuring out. And I'm and the thing is I'm not a hypocrite because I am friends with people just like you, and I have paid a lot of people for their time, and I don't care, like whatever. Oh, I need an answer from so and so. That's what it is. They're $200 an hour, whatever. I'm paying it, and I'm going to pay you $200 for your hour, and I'm going to get what I need out of you. But that $200 is going to come back in like the fact that I'm not going to make these mistakes, and I'm going to do it right the first time. So I'm happy to pay people for their time. I've just got to start transitioning into like, okay, my time is now worth X amount an hour for somebody that wants to get information from me, especially if I don't know, like the relationship hasn't been established yet. But like someone like you, it's just like you text me like, yeah, dude, just do this. It's all good. No worries there. Or anyone that I have that connection with. But yeah, I don't know. That's a thing
Yeah.
concept in itself.
Yeah, no, and I know you're about paying people for their time because there's times where you're like, oh yeah, I called this person and I just told them like, look, how much would it cost to have a conversation with you? Like you offered the money, they didn't say, oh, you got to pay me this. You were like, oh, how much? So it's like, yeah, I get it. Like I was on the phone with some guy, I can't remember his name, but a couple weeks back for like 35 minutes on my way home. He had sent me a DM and I was like, well, can I call you? Because I'm texting right now and it's just, I'm driving and it's like, I'm just going to call you, help you out. So we had a little conversation and it wasn't like that big of a deal. But yeah, sometimes it's like somebody will like DM something like, what's this? What's that? And then I'm just like, fuck, I don't have time to answer this little tiny question. So I'll wait until I get a chance to do it or whatnot. But it's like, I won't be as urgent. Like if you text me and my phone's right here, I'm like, oh, let me text them back. Right. Cause it's more urgency because the relationship that we built. Right. But it's like other people, I'm not gonna let you wait a little bit because I'm in the middle of something. I'm not just going to stop what I'm doing in the middle of something. When I get a chance to do that,
Yeah,
then I'll respond to you.
driving is a good one. Like when I'm either on my run or driving, where I'm like I can multitask. Like I'm just going to drive and listen to a podcast. I'm like, okay, if I have an hour drive, like that's different because I can engage on a conversation on the phone. It's a good use of my time. But if I'm like taking away from working or doing something I could be doing productive, it's different. But I think it's funny because like Frisella said on his podcast, and he said it a couple times, is like, do not message me or ever message anyone saying, can I buy you dinner? Can I buy you a coffee and pick your brain? He's like, it makes him cringe. And he's like, no, man, if you want attention from somebody or you need answers from somebody, you pay them because that's what they want. And they get paid for their hour, for their hourly rate.
Yeah.
And they can buy their own dinner, they can buy their own coffee, and now they got to go out of their way. So like the whole, oh, I'm gonna find a mentor. Let me go buy them a coffee. It's like, okay, like if somebody did that to me, I'm like, okay, like that's good for you, but like, what do you? Well, I could buy my own coffee, and I don't want to do that. you know?
Yeah. I will let you pick my brain for the price of a 600 square foot roof. No, I'm just kidding.
That's your going rate.
Yeah, it's my going rate. 600 square foot roof, please. Or if you can do it yourself and you're a roofer, hey, cool, great. But yeah, no, it does get tough though, because I mean, especially when you go on those groups and you start answering like a ton of questions, and then you look and you have like 100 notifications. You're like, shit, I gotta figure this out. Take time out of my day to do even more. But I was just trying to help somebody, and it's funny because I like actually how Bill responds. It's like I'll see him respond to some things, and it'll be like short and sweet, and it will be like super quick. You could just tell super quick, and then it's like that's it. Like boom, end of story. Because it is a challenge and everybody's busy,
Yeah,
including the people asking questions.
and I kind of bring it on myself because like what I started doing is like, shout out to Joe from the Mastermind, Joe Roney, Joe Money,
Oh,
Joe
the co-host. What is it? The co-host.
Co-host Collective.
What is it now? Co-host collective. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's that.
New
Yeah,
new logo for Joey Crack.
Joey
You got a new
Money.
logo.
Yeah, but anyways, he kind of just
Joe
tried.
Money.
He was telling me something he implemented, and I liked it. I copied him. It was basically like saying like he's building his online brand, and he's like, I started doing this, and it's just adding 5 Facebook friends a day, not necessarily reaching out to them, maybe if you want to, but it's just like every day, just add 5 friends that has a bunch of mutual friends. And just keep building your network. So the more and more you engage, the more and more people in your industry see this, whether they be local or whether they be in the short-term rental space. So I don't know. I've just started implementing that and just kind of like growing my own network. But with that, like I said, it comes with the constantly reaching out. Thanks for the ad. Let's chat sometime. And then it's like, okay, you get a bunch of those messages. Like, okay, I can't really spend my whole day chatting. Essentially,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't add me as a friend and send me a fucking wave. That shit annoys the crap out of me.
one
I'm like,
guy,
why the fuck?
One guy did a good deal. Like he seemed like a good operator, and I don't remember his name, but he was memorable enough because I think I added him or something, and he sent me like a 20 to 30 second intro video of himself, like just saying like, "What's going on? This is what I do. Nice to connect with you, man. If there's anything else I could do for you, or help you out with." I was like, "Damn, dude, that's legit. Like maybe I should just start." I mean, it's so much
Damn.
easier than typing something out. It's like, "Hey, Matt, nice to meet you. I do short-term rental, vacation management, man. I see you're in the same space. Let's connect, whatever." And at least they get an actual kind of like I guess Bill does for his guests that check
Yeah.
into his really high-end luxury properties. I don't know I'll ever go that far, but that's how he operates. Not saying anything negative about that, or who am I to say what Bill should or shouldn't do? That's not my place. But I don't think I'll ever go to sending the Airbnb message. But that is very personable. I don't know. But I mean, if you have like 10 check-ins in one day, like, are you going to send 10 different videos? Maybe you could make a generic one that goes to everyone without saying their name, but they don't understand that it wasn't personal and you just copy and paste it every time. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I've done it. I mean, for like high bookings, but it is a pain in the ass. And then it's like, oh, do I have time to record it? Do I want to record it here? Do I want to record it there? But like, I don't know. Sometimes if it's going to be like a long period of time, I'll send it because I'm like, it's a longer period of time. There's bigger chances for things to mess up. Like, hopefully this just kind of, you know what I mean? Hopefully it just kind of keeps it clean for me for the rest of this time you're here.
Has anyone
And some people like really appreciate it.
has anyone ever got your video and be like, "Wow, I'd like to cancel. This guy is a supreme douche."
No,
Not yet.
no, they're super like they either
I'm
don't
just kidding.
respond,
I'm just kidding.
but like 90% of them respond. Usually it's like they put stop in all caps, like it's an automated text. No, I'm just kidding. And then no,
Dude, that would be a
no, only when I text co-host leads.
That's a good idea too. I haven't really heard of anyone doing that, but if you're skip tracing and you got somebody's number, that's something I've thought about doing. And I was like, I actually filmed one. I didn't send it because I got just finished at the gym and I like watched the video. I was like, dude, you look like you look rough, like you look like a homeless guy. So I didn't send it. But that's a good idea though. If you instead of sending like a cold text or a cold call, because I'm not big on cold calling. It's just maybe you just haven't mastered the skill set. It's just uncomfortable and it's like, it just sucks. And that could be a good deal if you're looking good and presentable. Just make it very personable. Hey, Mr. Owner, saw your listing of Picasa. Looks like you got some serious issues with your cleaning. I'm just letting you know we're operators in the area. We do a much better job. And if you want to chat, we'll chat. If not, feel free to ignore this message. But just want to put my name out.
That might not be a bad idea, dude.
No, it's
Actually,
good.
I think I'm gonna try it. Yeah, that is good.
It's
Yeah,
personable. It's
yeah,
much better than a
totally.
text.
I actually, there's this Facebook group called Vacasa Owners Beware.
Uh-oh.
And some lady posted about some house she was staying at in Galveston and took all these fucking pictures. So I skip traced the owner and I was like, hey, just so you know, I mean, these are the problems that are getting posted online about your house, and you might want to reach out to Vacasa. If you have any other trouble or something or giving you problems, just give me a call. I want to help you, whatever. But I was just like, I think they should know. I mean, someone's blasting your shit all over the internet,
Yeah. No,
and
it's a
it's
good
like,
it's a good thought process. Like whenever I have my VA next week pull some new listings that I want to reach out to, I might consider doing personalized videos. And I don't know, man, if you just speak well, you sound confident and you just I don't see like I don't know. I'm having just like a brain blast moment. I feel like that I don't see the negative in that. I mean,
yeah, I don't either. I think it's going to get you more responses. I think it gets you a better response rate.
yeah, because
I
people
mean, I
people
think
get
that more
mad at
people
a text
respond.
and be like, "How'd this guy get my fucking number?" Like, "Oh, don't
Hmm.
text me again."
Yeah.
But if you send a video, they could still say "f off." But I mean, it's like, dude, I just
Hmm.
sent you like I went out of my way to do that, and I told you I'm not going to bother you again. Like, just letting you know I'm out there and I do this, and then they might be like, "Dude, wow, I'd like to chat with you because I'm not happy." So, dude, yeah, I'm glad we just started recording and
Yeah.
had no,
Good masterminding there.
yeah,
Yeah.
just doing
Good
a
brainstorming.
brain dump. Yeah, that's it's interesting.
I think it'd be cool too. So you do like personalized, like, hey, Austin, blah, 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 for like the higher properties, but the lower properties, you have a pre-recorded video, right? And then I'm sure there's an app on your phone. You just use CapCut and just right in the beginning for like 2 seconds, hey, Austin, and just send that video, right? So it just says their name on top, the front of the video, and then it cuts to you. and your like elevator pitch, let's say, but it's just generic for, you know, the lower properties. Hey, notice you have bad reviews of Vacasa or Revolve, whatever you want it to say, and just kind of encompass it. And just as long as it's targeting, right? As long as they have shitty reviews, as long as whatever you say, the shoe fits, right? Then it's like maybe you could streamline that faster by taking like 1 second in CapCut and typing in their name right there and then sending it. Or you could use Sean's little thing that we talked about, and he can hold a sign with the name that says Austin on it, and it could change and say somebody else's name and somebody else's name. Not sure if that would work through text messaging, but I think it'll be effective. I think it'd be more effective with iPhone to iPhone, you know, because the video will go right through real easy. Some of them, the Androids, you have to send a link because it gets too big sometimes. I know you're writing that down. You ready? Yeah, I want to see what happens. I think we need to revisit that. We need to. I think we need to make a goal and like reach out to like 50 people each, and then see with the videos and see what our response is. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, or if you are going to take this and implement this and try it, and it's going to be a good response, let us know. Like, we want to know, like, if you have success stories or things that happen that, you know, you heard here and it's helped you, just reach out to us and let us know. Or you have questions you want us to answer on the podcast, let us know. Like, we would love to help you, especially we're on a podcast because we already dedicated this time to the podcast. But yeah, I think that's fucking genius.
I'd say shout out to Bill, because it started with his method, and I was like, I would never do that. But then I was like, well, maybe if I was actually reaching out to
Well, I may do it for more money.
yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and I might try it next week and report back to see if that works. Interesting.
Yeah, me too, because I hate cold texting, but I don't fucking mind cold videoing you. Like, I don't mind just sitting a video.
I mean,
and
what's
be
the
like,
worst?
"Hey,
What's the
up?"
worst that
Blah,
could
blah, blah.
happen? They're the same as a text. Like, they just say "f off," or. But
Yeah.
if you know you can help them, it's like, okay, well, if you tell me to "f off," it's like your loss. Like, maybe you just don't care.
Yeah.
You either just don't care, or you just whatever. But I don't see like what bad could
Yeah.
come of it. I mean, mm,
Some people are really nice, and some people are just really fucking mean on. Yeah, some people are just like, "Hey, fuck
just
you,"
make
send
sure.
me middle
I
fingers.
think with that too,
Yeah.
with that,
Some people are like, "Good luck."
yeah, with that too, just make sure, like, sometimes when you skip trace, you don't get the right owner or the right address. So just like, what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do too is like take it one step further. Once I get this data of like the property, I'll probably like go on Facebook and find them. And like sometimes on Facebook, you can see like they'll share their Vacasa listing and say, "Hey, our place is open for the summer." So you can verify, like, "Oh, I know it's this person, and that's their name, and that's their cell phone number. Like, this is a good direct lead that this would be a good opportunity for." And a lot of times you send it the email out or the text out, and it doesn't even get to the right person. So like, especially if you can verify
Yeah.
that it's the right person, and then it's like, okay, I know it's going to go straight to their phone. So I can say, "Hey, Carol, I'm Austin. I've seen your listing. I see what you're having problems with. If you're not at least making this much money, I think you should be doing this. And I think we could take better care of your property. You got 3.7 on cleanliness. We don't do that." And yeah, I'd just like to throw my name in the hat. Boom. There's my first video right there. You could have just screen record that shit and just punch that out. I'm good.
Bring your
I'm good to go.
bring your dog in there. Bring your dog in there for a little you know, you got the golden retriever, so more like American dream type thing. Get American flag. Hey, I'm
I
Austin.
mean,
No. My biggest
if you have a golden retriever like next to you while you're filming the video, and you tell somebody like that to F off, or you tell them like, don't contact, that's just not American. Like that, you can't do that.
Yeah,
It's just not, you don't,
you're un-American.
there you go. It's wrong.
You are not like us, in
That's
the
a
words of
crime.
Kendrick.
That's a crime.
Yeah, it's wrong, man. It's just absolutely wrong. Yeah, you know, I can't. I mean, those people should be in prison for the rest of their life. But
Agreed.
yeah, God, we're terrible. But no, I think it's a great idea. The only thing that I hate about like I'm texting or calling somebody, I'm like, okay, is it Carol's phone number or is it Dave's phone number? Which person really is it? Is, you know, if they're like married or they're both on the deed, right? Am I texting Carol, Dave? Do I do a video like, hey, Carol, hey, Dave? You know,
Or
my
they,
name is Austin. Oh, this is my golden retriever here. Well, when our pets come and stay at your house, we clean up. So I just want you to know if there's any, they sell all your reviews have a lot of pet hair issues. We make sure that that's taken care of. And then, your wife walks by, hi, I'm Amber. Whoop, whoop. That's what we do. Like, if you need more help, let us know. Boom. And then go like this, and then your tooth goes ding, like the cartoons.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It was
That's a little more work.
Bunch of ways to do it, but yeah, no, I think also like the real personalized one are good, and then maybe I'll do like one that's generic, and then like you said, like put hey name in text it, and then put the video right after it, and then it's just like I don't say their name in the video, but I could use that video to copy and paste to everyone, so I don't have to sit there filming all day. So I'm gonna do that probably next week.
And then just put like your text like, hey Austin, I just sent you a video because I wanted to see if I could help you in any way, or something stupid, something so they open the video, something small.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever. I think, that's great. And that's why I'm mailing out letters too, because it's like, I don't know if the phone numbers I have for you are correct. Right. I don't know if if the address is correct. I can make sure the address is correct. Right. It's easier for me to validate somebody's address than it is for me to validate their phone number, because phone numbers change a lot, and addresses are documented everywhere, the deed and everything else. So I don't know. I think that's why I did that. But I think the video thing that's going to be gold. We want to do a whole, get it all figured out, like the whole nook and cranny perfectly, do a co-host tip, give away a free sample video, and start our own method on how to get co-host deals. That might be, and maybe do a training on it, maybe a live training. Might not be a bad idea. I think that's how much longer does it take for you to record a video if you just do it? The more you do it, the easier it is.
Yes, it's probably quicker than a text. And I don't know. I just think we're onto something. I just don't think it's just a good idea. I haven't heard. I'm sure maybe people do it, but I just haven't heard of anyone actually blasting it out there saying, "Hey, this worked for me. Like this is what I did, and this is the video I used." So, yeah, we'll have to be the first ones to get to it.
Worked. I think it'll totally work. I think it will. I think the problem is with it, people get lazy and start mass texting and stuff like that. That's the issue. You're going to have to do it individually, and it's going to take... I wonder if you could do it through open phone. Like if you were to have open phone, if you could send videos like that. I don't know. But maybe I'll have to ask... shoot Sean a text and ask him, because I think that's good. And if you're doing it, please just let us know what's up. We want to know.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Cool, man. Well, wow. I think we covered some good stuff today for not really having an agenda and just getting on here and rapping. It was good to catch up and see what you got going on, but I'm about all good, man.
Yeah, we can end it up. I think that too. We did some video before and we kind of just screwed it all up. And maybe do like a blooper episode. I think it'd be kind of cool to do a blooper episode eventually at some point. We could just do kind of commentary in between of our fuck ups. But yeah, so I appreciate Austin doing the intro, and I appreciate you guys listening. I want you to like and subscribe. I'm going to let Austin do the outro again now. I'm going to give him the whole episode, baby.
Well, I did the intro, so you got to do the outro, so go for it.
Oh. All right, everybody. So go ahead. That's a wrap. Follow us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Twitter. We're not on Twitter. I lied, actually.
Twitter's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you actually got on the Titter app, just let us know. We're in. We're gonna check it out. That was a blooper. All right. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
You got to do it.
Oh, peace. I don't like mine. Yours is better. Peace.
The Co-Host Bros Podcast.